welcome back to my channel. I said what I said. I need some feedback. Should I keep that title or should I go with my other choice? I have like 2 more choices for this channel as far as the title, but I'm like a little indecisive because I'm like, do I want to keep this name or do I want to change it to something else? So please let me know how you feel about the name of this channel and if I should keep it or give me any suggestions. I do have 2 other names, but I'm open to hearing your thoughts and opinions. So this is part 2 in the last segment of my Love is Blind season 6. I'm going to finish off my opinions on the individual cast members and then talk about the couples specifically and a little bit of their love triangles and then a little bit of the reunion and then give my overall opinion and thoughts and review of the season overall. And that will conclude Love is Blind season 6. Okay, stay tuned. All right, first up we have Jeremy or Jeremy. However you say it, we have Jeremy, who is a 32-year-old intralogistics. That's his occupation, by the way. I don't know too much about that, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I do. Jeremy is an interesting character to me. Like, I don't know. He gave me such odd vibes. Like, his whole demeanor, it was just very odd. I don't know if he has like social anxiety or he's like autistic or something, but he kind of made me feel that way. Not in a negative way, but like, you know how you meet someone, they have like an awkward vibe about them. That's what I think about when I think of him. Him in his little Hawaiian floral shirts that he wears. Yeah. If I could be honest, I'm surprised he even lasted as long as he did and even found any connections because he was just so odd to me and I didn't feel any chemistry between him or Laura or him and Sarah Ann for that matter. Like even in the pods, I don't know, maybe they didn't show all the good parts or whatever or the actual connections they were having. I don't know, but what they did show on the show is like, it's not much to go off of. So I'm surprised that him and Laura even ended up getting engaged and, you know, moving towards that stuff because I'm thinking, really, what was there? There wasn't any sparks there. There wasn't any chemistry there. There wasn't a connection or a vibe. Or maybe I'm blind and I missed it. Shit, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what too much to say about Jeremy. He just was an odd character. However, let's kind of get into this tea though. So apparently, even before and somewhat during, you know, Love is Blind, he was engaged to a woman and he technically damn near had like a family going on, like a whole family situation, and there are pictures going around, even text messages going around exposing Jeremy and everything. Before I get on that, let's put a pause on that. Let's just talk for a second. Let's break the fourth wall. I never understood people who go on these shows who have partners, significant others, actual wives or husbands, girlfriends and stuff. Like, I never understood that because it's like, you know, this platform is huge. It literally has hundreds of millions of viewers and watchers that watch each season. Did you honestly think, or do you honestly think that you're going to get away with having a whole family or a whole partner and be on a whole national show on Netflix and get away with going away for what, 2-3 months and possibly getting engaged and falling in love with someone, a whole nother person when you are engaged or you are involved with someone? Jeremy and Trevor are trifling because I don't get it. How do you literally kind of just ghost the partner that you're with just to be on the show and not even guaranteed that you'll find success from this show or you'll find someone like another partner or whatever? Like, it's just weird to me. And word on the street is the picture that's floating around with him and the lady and the boy or the baby that's, you know, he's holding, that's not even his kid. Apparently, I think that's just her child and he's just playing stepdaddy. Either way, I just think it's weird all in itself. And he's wrong for that. I mean, even how him and Laura played out, he was just wrong. So it speaks very much to his character. I'm not surprised about him being engaged and having someone. And on top of that, him basically just being how he is and being okay with that and doing this shit on national TV. I mean, it made for entertainment, but my God, like, have some decency, have some class, sir. Well, you know who we have to talk about next. Miss Laura. Laura is a 34-year-old account director. Laura stated that she has tried every other avenue to find love, and now she comes to Love is Blind with high hopes for establishing a genuine connection. She says she is so ready to find love through this experiment. Whew, child. Well, that didn't quite happen. Not to sound rude or anything, but like I don't know what you were really expecting from this, but things played out how they did. Let's talk about Laura. I don't really know how I feel about Laura too much because I had mixed feelings about her. In the beginning, I didn't really care for her. I thought she was kind of boring. I didn't really pay too much attention to her. And then her and Jeremy ended up engaged, and I kind of like not checked out, but checked out. And then that's when, they started showing each couple on the resort after they got engaged. I started paying attention a little bit, but what really caught my attention to her was the whole bean dip situation. So obviously, if you watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, just to give a quick update. So there's this cast member named AD, and she has a very beautiful body. She's very voluptuous and curvy, and she just has a nice figure. She's just very well put together. And a lot of people talked about it, including her significant other, Clay. But there are some other couples who were also kind of sexualizing AD. The first ones were Jimmy and Chelsea, where they were talking about how stacked she was. And they told her to her face how stacked she was. And then Jimmy went over to her being weird as fuck in front of Chelsea. And then that same night, Jeremy tells Clay, AD, and Jimmy, we talked about bean dip, and they kind of wanted me to bean dip you. And Clay didn't know what the hell bean dip was. Neither did I. So I'm glad that they cleared that up. But basically, bean dip is when you take a girl's titty and you basically slap it, or you slap it up, or you slap it down. But it's like a titty flip. And AD's looking at Jeremy. She's like, who said that? Like, it's a titty flip. Who are you supposed to bean dip? And he's like, you. She's like, me? What? And Laura overhears, and she's like all upset and embarrassed because he basically exposed that him and Laura were basically talking about assaulting AD by bean dipping her, which is super weird. And Laura got all upset at Jeremy for exposing it, and they got into a little argument or whatever, and she told him that he's basically a shit starter. And it was just like, oh my God. But I was intrigued. I was very entertained. But I was like, am I the only one who's wondering why AD is the only one being sexualized? And why was AD the only person they were talking about bean dipping? All the other ladies, Amy, Chelsea, all the other ladies that were there, why weren't they part of that conversation about getting bean dipped? It was only AD. So I kind of side-eyed Lauren and Jeremy, but specifically Lauren because it was her idea, and Jeremy just exposed it, and she act like, well, why did you say it? Why did you have to open your mouth? It's like, well, why did you even repeat that and say that in the first place, girl? I know some people thought that she was a mean girl on the show and she gave off mean girl energy. I kind of peeped that a little bit, but realistically, I feel like some of her mean girlness was kind of justified in some instances because she was definitely putting people in their place. And I have to give girl her T's and her Q's and just say she was calling people out. And I appreciate that. She was clocking people's T and she was putting them in check and letting them know. Calling out Jeremy, calling him out on his bullshit, calling out Sarah Ann and all that. Even exposing the bullshit between them. Like, I have to give old girl her props. Even at the reunion, she was on their heads, okay? Calling them out, giving them all types of nicknames and talking shit about them. But it was kind of justified, so yeah. Realistically, I don't have too much to say about Laura. I had mixed feelings about her, but I mean, realistically, in the end, she shouldn't have gotten treated the way she did toward the end. But yeah, that was my take on Laura. All right, well, you should know exactly who's next. Miss the epitome to all of Ariana Grande's trifling songs. Break up with your girlfriend because I'm bored. The boy is mine. Miss Trifling herself, Miss Sarah Ann. Sarah Ann is a 30-year-old customer service support manager. Sarah is just trifling. I mean, I don't really know how else to put it. She's just trifling. I mean, maybe Matthew was onto something when he literally walked out of the room when she was talking because he could sense the bullshit and the buffoonery coming from her. It was radiating in her aura. But in all seriousness, I don't know what it is about some of these women, but it's just like Sarah Ann gives me the type of vibe. She'll befriend you and be friends with you because you're with the guy that she likes. So she's trying to get info. But the moment she senses weakness and she senses something off between you and the guy, she's going to swoop in and work her little magic powers to try to get him. And it's just trifling behavior. And she always seems like she wants to justify her trifling behavior, which is, girl, there is no justifying it. Like, have some self-love, some self-worth, and some couth about you, and realize, like, regardless of whatever happened in the past between you and Jeremy, if y'all did have a connection, if y'all did have a bond, if y'all did have something there, at the end of the day, he did not choose you. He did not want to marry you. He did not propose to you. He was not engaged to you. He chose Laura over you. And even with that, that should have stuck with you. There should have been something that clicked in your brain that said, to hell with him. You should have pulled a Jessica and said, bitch, you're gonna choke. Like, you should have pulled one of that. Like, even when Jessica saw Jimmy, you know, she wasn't like all weird. Like, you know, do you still think about me at night? And do you want me as the door's still open? She was like, deep down in her mind, she's like, I know you're shitting a brick right now, but I need you to make sure that you be good to Chelsea. That's how you do it, bitch. You play in his face, but you also keep it cute. You don't sit there and DM a whole engaged man telling him that, you know, even though things didn't work out, you still want to keep communication and that the door is open. That is beyond trifling and just very telling to her character and who she is as a woman and how she carries herself. Because, girl, you didn't have to go out like that. You smiling in Laura's face, but then you do that. And it's just sad. It ain't all on her, because Jeremy definitely played a part in it by entertaining her and making her believe that they had something even though he is with Laura. Like, that's just trifling on both of their parts. And it's just disgusting. And even when they were on the dock or the deck, when all the couples were together outside that day and before they got on the jet skis, and he's just agreeing with everything that Sarah Ann said, it's like, y'all both are trifling. Both of y'all are a match made in heaven because y'all are both trifling. But even when AD was sitting there trying to give her some leeway and some, you know, common sense, letting her know how it look and how it's going to make her look as an individual and as a person, she's not reciprocating and understanding that this girl's trying to help her. Instead, she's getting all defensive and trying to justify it by saying, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with what I did. I just left the door open. Girl, what? Get for real. Be for real. Have some self-standards about yourself. Have some coof. Like, she's trying to tell you that what you're doing is not right. Because if the roles were reversed, I guarantee you would not appreciate if Laura pulled a you on you. And she's getting all upset and getting upset at AD, talking about people need to stay the fuck out of her business and stuff. You're on national fucking TV, Dodo. Estupido. You're on TV. Everyone's in your business, dum-dum. It's on TV. It's broadcasted everywhere. Everyone is seeing it. And they're calling you out on it. And you don't like it, stupid. So, I mean, really, it's just a TV show. I'm not really taking it personal to heart. I just feel like, girl, that's not cute. And there's many women like that in the world who act like that and justify that kind of behavior. And it's just like, it's something wrong with you. Like, be for real. It's not cute. It's not okay. And you shouldn't treat people like that. And you shouldn't want to be someone's second choice. Even if they are together in today's time, it's just like you the way you get them is the same way you lose them. And I hope she knows that. Trifling. All right, moving on to our next person, Mr. Kenneth. He is a 26-year-old middle school principal. I find it hard to believe that this man is 26. He looks like a hard 36 in my opinion. I'm 26 years old as of today, and let me just say, even though I kind of look younger than my age, at least I look in my age range. He does not. That's no disrespect to him. He just does not give me 26 at all. I never would have guessed he was in his 20s. So, and also on that, for someone to be 26, he's definitely acting a little childish, especially how he dealt with Brittany and that whole situation. But let's just talk about him for a moment. There's not really much to say about him. He didn't really do much. He was just there. He was kind of boring. Nothing memorable was about him. But what really irked my soul was kind of like how I mentioned his occupation as a middle school principal. And he even mentioned on the show that he is a principal. My thing is, if you pay attention to certain things, most schools, including colleges, they have school start from August or September, depending on where you are, to December. And then you have that break in December. and then you come back in January, from January to either May or June, depending on where you live and where you are. So I'm mentioning that to say this season of Love is Blind filmed last year, March or February, I can't remember. It's probably March of 2023, and it ended sometime in May of 2023. Most likely he would have been working around that time because that's when school is still going around that time, which means you deliberately took time off to be on Love is Blind. And then you go on Love is Blind, find someone, get engaged to them, and y'all have y'all little weird ass interactions and shit because of you, mainly because of him. And then you go live in the house with her and you're on your phone, probably texting another bitch, or, I don't know if y'all know, but the tea is that he's, undercover and secretly gay. Not that there's anything wrong with being gay, but it's just like, okay. But anyway, he was on his phone a lot, ignoring her, but his whole excuse was, I'm a principal, it's work, it's just my job. You took off time to be on the show, but yet you're on the show and you're talking about your job, which I doubt you were actually focusing on because you didn't care. You literally took off time to be on the show, and now you're worried about your job. Just say you wasn't interested in Oh Girl Baby. Like, I don't know. Kenneth just gave me weird vibes. He was just odd to me, in my personal opinion. A lot of the guys were on this season, but at least they were entertaining. They had some depth or some type of personality about them that made up for the oddness. Like, like a Matthew or a Jeremy. He was just weird. And again, he wasn't memorable at all. He was very boring. He was just there. So that's my thoughts on Kenneth. All right, next up is Brittany. She is a 25-year-old senior client partner. There's not really much to say about Brittany. Kind of similar to Kenneth, she wasn't that memorable to me. Like, she was there, but I don't really remember too much from her or just anything that was like made me stand out about her. But I do appreciate the fact that she was trying with Kenneth. I appreciate the fact that she was putting herself out there and constantly trying to, make a move. Because you never know. Sometimes you'll meet someone and it's a little shy, or they're a little shy in person, or they don't know your boundaries. So you're just trying to set the tone and say, hey, it's okay for you, or I give you consent to do this. So I appreciate her for trying, especially when they were on the boat and she was trying to teach him about affection. Like, hey, you can touch me. Like, we can create this boundary. But other than that, there's not really much to say about Brittany. I don't have much to say about her. I hope that she finds someone better. And yeah, she didn't deserve how Kenneth treated her the entire time. If anything, he practically wasted her time. She could have met someone better in the pods. I don't know if she was involved with anyone else or if she talked to anyone else, but yeah, it's unfortunate. So that's my thoughts on Brittany. Okay, next up we have Mr. Johnny. Johnny is a 28-year-old account executive, and surprisingly, I like Johnny. Johnny seemed the most normal out of all the guys, like the only one with some type of decency, and the only one who actually seemed to like his partner, his significant other, and actually felt like the experiment actually worked. Like, he genuinely seemed like he liked her. Like, even when he saw her, he was like, I never thought I would be with someone like her. Like, she's amazing. She's out of my league. She's so beautiful. Like, just speaking so highly of Amy. You could just tell he genuinely liked her and was very excited and pleased to be with her and all that. Like, I love that. I love to see that, especially with this season. We ain't getting none of that. But, with all the good things I've said about Johnny, the only thing I quite did not really understand was the whole him and not having sex. Like, maybe I need some more clarification, or maybe I should just rewatch it, but I don't understand that. Like, my whole thing was, my dude, just use a condom. I mean, you're about to get married to this woman. I know they're married now, but like at the time, I'm like, I know you're about to get married to this woman. I know you want to reproduce and procreate and create a baby and have like a legacy between you two of your own. Like, you're not doing it out of wedlock because you're technically about to get married. So it's like, look at all your options. Why are you so against it? But then again, I don't really know Johnny. I don't know his situation or his story or why. I probably missed it. But yeah, it's like, my dude, just use a condom. My God. But yeah, he seemed the most decent out of everyone. Like, he had such a youthful energy about him. He was always smiling and giddy and happy. And he just seemed genuinely happy to be with Amy. And it's like, That's what we want to see. We want to see someone who actually likes the person that they're with, like actually excited about the person that they chose and they feel like that's their person. So congrats to them. Congrats for them getting married, and hopefully they have a beautiful, long-lasting marriage and they procreate. Okay, we finally reached our last cast member of Love is Blind Season 6, which is Miss Amy. So Miss Amy is a 28-year-old e-commerce specialist, and Amy, Amy seemed cool, you know? It's funny when her and Johnny revealed themselves, she's kind of like, he's not the typical guy I go for. Like, I really wouldn't talk to him and, or speak to him in passing. But I feel like he obviously won her over with his charm and his demeanor, his vibe. So at the end of the day, good for them. They seemed the least problematic. They were out of drama. They just seemed in love. And she just seemed like a cool person. Like, she matches his energy. And I love that for both of them. And there's not really much to say about Amy. I know she had that storyline where it's like, we can't get married if my dad doesn't approve of you. So it's a beautiful thing that the dad did approve. And hopefully they procreate and they are having sex, which I feel like they are. It's none of my business, but, But one thing I will say is, one thing I like about their dynamic is that maybe I'm biased in saying this, but I personally feel like a guy should like you just a little bit more than you like him for a relationship to work. Only because when a girl likes a guy too much, it gets overbearing. The guy loses interest quickly and he goes to find someone who he feels like is a catch and a little bit more of a challenge. When both people have mutual feelings, it's great, but you never know with that. It can go either way. But when a guy likes you a little bit more, it makes him want to work harder for you. I'm not saying this is always like that, because, you can have a guy who will say he wants you and you are everything to him and then still fuck around and do stupid stuff. So, but I think it's great that they found each other and they are each other's person. Hopefully everything works out for them. And congrats to both Johnny and Amy to being the only couple who got married, the only sane and decent couple who actually seem like they like each other. So congrats to them. All right, so now let's talk about the couples. Let's get into some real tea. All right, that concludes part 2 of the Love is Blind Season 6 series. Part 3 will be up very soon, and it will include each review of all the couples individually, including their love triangles, the review of the reunion that just passed and happened, and lastly, my predictions for Season 7 and what's to come. Thank you. Stay tuned for part 3. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this video and to this channel. Thank you. Bye.